Canada's booming population growth is suffocating. Over the years, lots of people are moving away from Canada, and more than half of those who left did so within the first year of arrival. Why is that? Canada's population is becoming a huge problem, as about 13,100 people have recently left the country in 2022, which is an additional 42% increase from the same quarter last year. The fall has been leveled on global recession, but there has to be more reasons why Canada is experiencing such high immigration. Welcome to Savvy Economists and the sad tale of Canada's economic fall. Under a ruler who planned to lead the nation to their next high, but had no solid plan. Now, the Canadian pristine economy is experiencing depression and causing immigrants and citizens confused and angry, running back to their country. Please watch, like, and share this video. Drop your comments and observations below and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Let's dive right in. According to a new poll, about 30% of new young immigrants could leave the country in the next 2 years. Matter of fact, the national survey conducted by the Ledger for the Institute for Canadian Citizenship, ICC, reveals that 30% of new Canadians from the age of 18 to 34 and 23% of university-educated new Canadians may likely move to another country in the next 2 years. A large population of Canada is immigrant and the nation is still welcoming more, but the crisis experienced by many new Canadians is making them rethink whether they really made the best choice. Non-Canadians are not treated fairly. Sadly, this escape is felt in provinces high in real estate and skilled labor such as Ontario, BC, and Alberta. The largest outflow we experienced was in Ontario with about 47.1%. The next is BC with 20.4%, followed by Alberta with 13.5%. One of the reasons they are leaving is the lack of promotion in the organizations they work. Employers do not want to promote international fellows into certain positions. A clear example is Mir, who studied finance in the United States and landed a job in one of the best financial management companies in the world. With such a great education and work experience, he was certain he'd have no trouble getting a job. But the reverse was the case. Mir went through a series of extended survival jobs in retail and zero interview calls back for months. He had to take some courses in computer programming and move to Regina before he got a job. But it was the beginning of a nightmare, as I was still sidelined during meetings. In Merrill Lynch words, major Canadian multinationals in BC are on record saying that immigrants cannot express themselves well in interviews, and therefore it is difficult to consider them for senior positions. This is why immigrants are leaving Canada. Another major challenge why people are leaving Canada is the strict Canadian work experience required before you can get a job. Stephen Burkhard, a worker in Washington who recently relocated to Canada, applied for a job and complained of the abysmal salaries. I do not mean to compare, but the difference in compensation is just too much. In Switzerland, I was being paid about $350 an hour, and in Canada, I started at $20 an hour. Stephen again applied to 2 companies and was called for an interview by one of the companies, but was told that they needed a Canadian with more Canadian experience. They even told him to his face. The high cost of living is even the most common reason why immigrants leave Canada, is because of the high cost of living. Everything is actually costly in Canada. Unlike many parts of the world, living a comfortable life in Canada comes at a higher cost. Buying a house in cosmopolitan cities like Toronto is now a dream to many. Car insurance is miserably high. A friend of mine pays $300 as vehicle insurance while he paid $60 for the same when he was in the United States. High tax rate is another. In Canada, the more you earn, the more you pay. If a person earns $70,000 yearly, will pay a tax of $18,000, making him take home $52,000. According to a survey, 75% of new Canadians between the ages of 18 and 34 said they believe the rising cost of living means immigrants are less likely to stay in Canada, a statement with which 46% of Canadians in the same age group also agreed. The cost of living in Canada has gone to a new high than seen in over 30 years. And economists warn that the price may even go higher. Coupled with that, housing is becoming scarce too, with record low mortgage rates increasing the Canadian home prices 52% higher over the past 2 years, and fewer rentals available on the market at an affordable price. With the cost of living on the rise in Canada, another concern among new Canadians is entry into the workforce at fair and livable wages. Immigrants with university degrees had less favorable opinions when it comes to getting fair job opportunity and pay than other new Canadians. Only 29% of immigrants with university degrees agrees that immigrants are paid fair wages based on their work experience, which is very low compared to the number of immigrants in the nation. No new immigrants who would not recommend Canada to other prospective immigrants as a place to live, stating that poor current leadership and high cost of living were the top 2 reasons. We suppose it's why the federal government has plans to ramp up the number of new permanent residents in Canada over the next 3 years to fill areas in education and healthcare. But researchers said Canada may need to offer more support to new Canadians in order for that to happen. The data suggests that younger, highly skilled immigrants in particular are starting to fall between the cracks, Dave Scholes, Ledger's executive vice president, said in the release. We need to continue working hard to ensure that we are welcoming newcomers with the resources they need to succeed, and that we continue to be a country that provides opportunity. But lately, we don't even understand the role of the government in ensuring the nation provides its average service for its citizen. In a developed nation such as Canada, citizens might assume that governing authorities legitimately and competently act to provide them with economic and social security. But on the contrary, citizens are faced with inequitable distribution of income and services with the expectation that they will respond. For example, poverty researchers and food security advocates detail the extent of poverty and hunger respectively in Canada and its adverse health effects, hoping for positive policy responses from governing authorities. Even basic services like healthcare and driver's license that the federal government has the constitutional authority to provide has still a problem. A simple definition of competence of any government is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. But the Canada's governing authorities is failing in their abilities to meet the economic and social needs of citizens. Despite the Constitution's commitment to peace, order, and good government, Canada has been the subject of an ongoing series of rebukes from the United Nations and its citizens regarding violations of the civil, political, and social rights. Could this be the end of Canada? We hope not. As a Canadian, what do you think about Justin Trudeau's economic policies and his general handling of his duties as Prime Minister? As a non-Canadian, how do you think the country can be made better for immigrants? Please drop your thoughts and observations below. As a newly created channel, we need all the help we can get. To support us, please watch, like, and share our videos. You can also subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.